So speaking about sport and aesthetic, in terms of preference, it's a bit of a stretch, I guess, because on both sides, it has been completely different in experience. When it comes to sports, I have been this person, ask anyone if you want to know, I would turn on the Olympics 24/7 at my house for the whole month and watch it at a stretch with my family, of course. And I would cheer on for the Sri Lankan cricket team at any time. When it comes to school, the sports meet or the sporting experience has given me so much that I cannot describe. It's more of a completely different feeling, a completely different experience where you are on the playground. You have, like when it comes to netball, I mean, you're on the playground ready to fight for a single goal. And you have your teammates backing you up. It's a sort of connection that you won't find anywhere else. And that is a yearning that I want to feel every single time I get on the court. And when it comes to aesthetics, it's a different thing. It's more of you use different mediums of expression. You use symbols, you use words, you use forms of art to express yourself in a different way. It's in a way defining human complexity, because aesthetics is defying human bounds, human limits. And in terms of preference, there is no like sports or aesthetics, but in terms of ability, I find myself more at home with aesthetics, because modes of expression like words, music, drama, and even academics has brought out the best in me, while sports has given me a constant push in excelling in aesthetics as well. That is a question that you would find anyone asking, I guess, being the head girl. But speaking on that topic, well, balancing is quite difficult, I think. There were many instances with extracurricular activities that I felt like trapped within a huge frame. But I'm happy that I was able to balance things out up until now, and I think I'll be able to in the further future. So in terms of balance, I guess the first thing I was able to do is, whenever I couldn't go to class, my first focus was to complete my notes or do my homework. And in any instance when I could not study, my mom always told me, like when I was too tired, to keep on like memorizing my words through books. My mom always told me to like do my homework and complete my notes. And I was always updated by that point. So when I come to class, I am never like backed off. I'm never late. So that is one thing that I did to keep my balance. And the other thing was, whenever I could, especially when I came to committee, I guess, whenever I could, I went to class. Because I think that is one of the reasons that being in high school has been an amazing thing, because the teachers are exceptional. They have taught me like whenever they could, and whenever I missed a subject, they would always be there to like revise me on whatever I missed. And even if it has been like a very tiresome day and I'm like down in the dumps, I still made up my mind to go to class whenever I had like a free time and just keep myself updated whenever I could. And that has been a great exposure for me. And one last thing is, when it comes to A-levels, in terms of A-levels and balancing the subjects, it is a main push to have subjects that I love studying. Geography, French and literature are, of course, extremely difficult subjects. But whenever I come home, sit down and to study literature, it's like having a cup of coffee in a rainy day. I'm always delighted to sit there, to take my books and just read, immerse myself there, then and there, with all the reading material and sitting down to write. So I love my subjects, and that has been one of my major strengths, I guess, in balancing my education with my extracurricular activities. I have only been able to, during my school time, to go to the international circuit twice. And none of them were competitions, but more of representing Sri Lanka in a different viewpoint. So the first was a student exchange program organized by the ministry, and I got myself, along with a group of 20, to participate in a student exchange program in China, where we had to stay there for 10 days and immerse ourselves in their culture. So it was, I would say, a completely different setup that I had to represent myself in. It's like you go there and you learn their ways, and you realize how different but equal you are in completely different backgrounds. Me being Sri Lankan, we had a completely different viewpoint on certain things, and they too. But it was a moment of connection that we had as equal-aged teenagers trying to bond over boundaries. And in that sense, representing my country had been such a joyful experience. It was amazing, I would say. I got a chance to learn how to adapt by myself, and it was like a huge boundary, I guess, because me being here in Sri Lanka with my parents, I was able to stay there for 2 weeks in a completely different household. We had a homestay, and show them what it feels like to be Sri Lankan, and at the same time how I was open to their culture and their experiences. So in that case, I would have to say it was a very joyful experience and a very challenging one. But I got myself to connect in a different strata with those children because I had no tension when I went there. It was just me and them. And in that sense, it was a great experience I had in terms of international platform. The second one, the second international representation I got the chance to represent myself in was this SDG Forum, or the Sustainable Development Goals Forum, which is based on the Sustainable Development Goals organized by the United Nations to be done around 2030. When I first got the call to participate in this forum, I was overjoyed because it wasn't like everyone got the chance to do it, and when my school believed that I could actually do this, it was amazing. I was very happy, I was overjoyed. And what I got to participate in was the Quality Education Forum. I think that would be one of the topics that any child would like to speak about. And the topic I spoke about was the barriers to quality education in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I got to represent Sri Lanka in a speech. So this forum, organized by the Sun4 organization, or the Sri Lanka United Nations Friendship Organization, opened up to many countries. It wasn't just 2, it was around 20, I believe. And all of us had the opportunity to speak about what our countries are facing, the challenges, the barriers, and at the same time, the programs in order to avoid those barriers. So when I got to speak out about the barriers to quality education in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic, in my heart, the research I did, I knew that I was voicing out many of the challenges that we as Sri Lankans were facing. And by that point, I realized even if it was just one voice, at least I was able to open up to a bigger background, to a bigger setup, which consisted of a lot of countries. So I got their attention to what we were facing. But at the same time, I realized that we were not alone, that even the most developed countries had problems they faced. And it made me it gave me relief, because it's not a bad kind of relief. It made me realize that we as Sri Lankans were not alone. We got to connect with every other country there who were facing different kinds of challenges in different ways. And listening to what they say and voicing out my own expressions, I realized that we as a community, as a global community, were facing the same thing in different ways, and we were not alone. And that itself was amazing, because I got to listen to them as well as I got to speak out on behalf of Sri Lanka. And that itself was an immense honor, I would have to say, to be able to voice out as a single individual, but also gain the attention of a larger community. Not only the experience, but also the understanding they had. It wasn't criticism, it wasn't scrutiny, it was mere understanding as one community. So that itself, to represent internationally, was huge, I would have to say. It was huge. It was not a competition or any award. It was a discussion on something that everyone was concerned of in the present community. And I was honored to represent Sri Lanka in that terms. I was further able to connect to these forums, especially the climate change forum, as well as peace and justice, in terms of technical assistance and creative publicity. So I am keeping in contact with them, and I hope to further help Sri Lanka and to participate in this SDG forum. I realized that even if one voice may seem insignificant, it can grant the attention of a larger community. And by that point, from that, I realized that I had the confidence to know that there would always be someone listening, somewhere out there in the world. And it wasn't a waste. It meant something, and that international representation truly brings out a best in someone. I have to say I have had a lot of unforgettable experiences, but this experience cannot be compared. I know it's been a few months that I've come here, but the most unforgettable experience that I've had at school is becoming the head girl of Candy Girls High School. In a school like high school, it has been the biggest honor to become the head girl. When I speak of coming to this position, I would have to say that it's like even the most insignificant detail has helped me come to where I am. Like running with a matchbox to the main hall just because I was scared that the lighting of the oil lamp would get late. Even those tiny insignificant details has helped me to become this person who I am today. as the head girl of Candy Girls High School. And after the COVID-19 pandemic, we had a lot of fallbacks, I would have to say, because we couldn't do a lot in the past 2 years, but in 2023, our school is getting back on its feet. We are doing every single thing we can, and we have not done, to bring back that legacy that we missed due to COVID-19. And it has been a lot of work, but being the head girl, it was a lot to balance with a group of 50 crazy, chaotic crew and 3 other beautiful individuals who were always by my side at a time of need. And that experience comes with being an amateur, but learning to adapt to every situation. By now, we did so many events that every event itself was unforgettable. And as the head girl, there was a lot of balancing, I would have to say, a lot of chaos, a lot of midnight calls, a lot of laughter, a lot of tears. But everything has been worth it. Every single event, every day at school, every morning hour from 6 a.m. in the morning has been worth it. And that itself has been an unforgettable experience. And at the same time, this is something minor compared to what I just said, but this is an experience that I will never ever be able to forget in my life. Ever since I was a child, I would have to say, the seniors in our school have made such a big impact on me that I was always inspired by them. And drama is one of those platforms where I have been continuously inspired. When I was around grade 7, 8, we did a drama, and those scripts were made by our seniors, the Akis from our school. We did a house drama, that too, everything was done by the seniors. And I was mesmerized, I was in awe by that ability. I've always wanted to go to that point. I was like, how could they do that? I don't know how they did that, but I really want to do that one day. And last year, with an amazing crew by my side, we only had 2 days left, and we had to make minor adjustments to the script. With the help of an amazing bunch of individuals, I was able to write a script myself. I was able to adjust the script and rewrite, including many of the important acts, I would say. And I was in awe by myself. I'm not boasting when I'm saying this, but I was so overjoyed that it in itself was unforgettable. Writing a script, thinking of the symbols, thinking of the characters, whatever is done to bring out the best in them, whatever is done to bring out the natural human qualities in them, all in wording, to be acted out on stage. In those pages, it was, I guess, really unforgettable to sit down and write a script. It was, I don't know, it made me love the seniors that I had even more, because it was challenging. It was really challenging, but reminding myself of a childhood that always dreamed of something big and being able to do it, that in itself is very unforgettable. My biggest achievement is being able to write 3 books before I turned 18. 3 pieces of fiction, Final Destiny, Petrichor, and The Silent Magician, has taken a huge part in my life. That is in itself the biggest achievement I've had up to date. When I speak of the 3 books, I've always been an avid reader, and I've always loved the characters, to immerse myself in a different world other than mine, and to laugh at the most random places, to cry overnight, and of course my parents coming to me and asking me if I was okay, and only to realize that I was reading a book. So me being able to create that atmosphere within myself is one of the greatest achievements in life. I was in grade 7 when I wrote Final Destiny, and in grade 9 when I wrote Petrichor, and in grade 11 when I wrote The Silent Magician. It wasn't easy. It really wasn't easy, and I am still surprised by the amount of patience that I endured to write 3 books, I would say. And the first book, it's like I was inspired by an author, the author that got me into reading, J.K. Rowling. So that book is a little similar to her writing style, but as I grew up, Petrichor built a completely different atmosphere. And The Silent Magician is the biggest and the best, in my opinion, from what I wrote, because that was the first novel, from 18,000 words to 30,000 words to over 50,000 words. Why do I consider this as the biggest achievement? I'm just surprised by myself when I think I was able to create worlds, to create living, breathing characters through words. I wasn't the best writer, I would say. But when it comes to stories and reading, the amount of time, the amount of effort, the amount of errors I took the pains I took to write the books, itself created who I am, created the love for literature. And just imagining my characters, the worlds I built in other readers' minds itself, it's like the biggest honor that I can have. Combining symbols, colors, settings, and even conversations, it's a different world, a different experience. And thinking now that little Shenaya, when she was in grade 6, taking a pen, sitting down to write, being able to create words and words of pages and pages of words, I think that child, thinking back about it now, I think that child would have been over the moon to see that she was able to write 3 books before she turned 18. And I guess that was the biggest achievement of all. I think the answer I'm about to give is an expected one, but nonetheless, she is the one who aspired me to become who I am today. My role model is my mother. She is the reason I am smiling in front of you in this position as the head girl. She didn't care if it was day or night. She was always there by my side. Even today, she would listen to me speaking of nonsense, speaking of my sadness, my happiness, every little detail, or even about books she does not understand. And taking her time, she was always there for me. Even in my ups, even in my downs. She came behind me, she gave me a hug, she patted my head. She would take anyone who knows the light blue car around town. We would laugh at how the police would always say, "Is that the lady with the blue car?" That's always because my mom was always there for me. The quality that I admire the most in her is that she believed in me. In whatever circumstance, she believed in me. Even if there were failures that I couldn't overcome, that I found it very difficult to overcome, she said that I can. She believed in me in every possible way. Even in like certain things that I couldn't do, but I wanted to try out, she said, go for it. You can. Of course you can. And that is why I'm here, and that is a quality I want to bring out in my own way, is to believe in all the young girls here, in all the individuals that I meet. I want them to feel how I felt in what my mother felt for me. And I want to give them that experience. My mom was also a brilliant individual. I can't compare myself to her because she is absolutely awe-inspiring. And in that quality, from that quality, by her believing in me, I would also love to believe in everyone else and to show that they can do it if they love it. My school life has been the best life, I would say. I am so sad that I have to leave school the next year. I would actually love to stay here for more than 13 years because it has been the absolute best. Speaking about the teachers, I would say, when they say teachers are our second parents, here in high school, they literally are. You can just run to them and they are home to you in every possible situation. Every teacher who has taught me or not taught me has helped me even with the tiniest smile. They have inspired me. They have been the heart and soul of high school. And I have to say that everything from aesthetics to sports, the foundation were the teachers. And if it was not for their hard work, determination to start that kind of a process, I don't think high school would be here today. And they are the absolute best individuals you would ever meet in high school. They absolutely are. And when I talk about my friend circle, I've had a gang from grade 6, a gang which consisted of 17 individuals, completely different to each other, but utterly chaotic. We would do the most chaotic things possible. They were like sisters to me. They still are. And unfortunately, we had to part ways when we came to A-levels. Only 2 of my friends, like me and one other, studied in the languages section. And most of them went to science and a few to commerce. But the closeness or the connection I have with them, even if the arts section and the science section is situated in 2 corners of the school, whenever I meet them, when I'm walking around the school, they always seem to bring an unintentional smile to my face. They make my day. They are the best people you might ever meet. But of course, social circles change. They will always remain in my heart, and wherever they are, they would always be the people who would make me happy. I would also like to talk about the friends I met in 12HL, the Humanities and Language class. I have to say 80% of our class is from different schools, but I mean, they are the absolute best. They have completely different viewpoints, different perspectives, and that itself was, I would have to say, beautiful. They are beautiful human beings. We share different perspectives, especially as the Humanities and Language class, and it was a completely different connection. They are beautiful human beings that I would love to revisit again, re-meet again, and spend my time with them, speaking about the most random things. I absolutely love going to my class whenever I could, and they are one of those reasons. Speaking about another group of individuals, and that is the committee. Uh, as my second year in committee, the first being the house captain, the committee crew is like a completely different bunch. They are the most different people, the most contrasting people in one social circle. But they have been like family. When they say committee is family, it is. And being the Sansom house captain has made me into someone who's a lot confident in herself, someone who has grown into a better individual being. And I think that wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for them. And there were 4 individuals, the house captains, me and 3 others, who immediately became sisters. When it comes to challenges, we faced it. And it was those experiences that brought us together. 4 strangers that created a bond as close as sisters. I love them, I absolutely do. And here, being the head girl, I am with a different committee who is a year younger to me. And that is also, I would have to say, a different experience, a very fun, a very challenging experience. Because when I was the senior house captain, I had to work with individuals who were my age. And it was very mutual. The connection was mutual. But coming here with a younger generation, a little scared to come to this point, I realized how amazing they are. They make me happy. They are also another group of individuals who do not fail to make me smile. I would love to stay here for a bit longer because of them, because of those 50 chaotic bunch of committee members who are ready for mischief anytime, all the while fulfilling responsibilities, that is. They are my friends, my family, the teachers and the individuals I met. They are my friends, they are my family. They are the reason to me becoming who I am today. When I speak about the best things I've learned in school, is high school gives you the exposure to do anything you want. If it means helping the school, if it means like any challenge, any sense of aesthetic or sport event or even academics, they're here. The best thing I've learned in school is to go for it, to do your best. Here, I would have to say the students are given a chance to engage in a larger part of any event. The teachers are there to help you, to support you, but they also give you the freedom to embrace it, from the organization to actually executing the program. And it has helped me in many different ways, from punctuality to organization to even decoration. It has made me who I am. And the best thing I've learned here in high school is to go for it, and at the same time let others go for it. To never be doubtful of anyone's capability. Just let them take a chance and let them do it. Let them go for it, even if it's a new thing for them. The secret I would have, there's no secret. I guess it's visible to anyone who would look at me. But the secret to my success is loving what I do. I am here today because I loved everything I did, even if it was painful. But whenever I get up in the morning, I realize that I'm here, living, breathing. I am here within myself as Shenaya. and I have done, I have been given the chance to do so many things that I love coming to school, love doing my academics, love whatever extracurricular I do. Even I love the fact that being, in a challenging position such as this. So what I have to say is love what you do. Be optimistic. It's the reason for the smile to come out, and it will make things so much better. I think it's infecting, that optimism, that happiness, the love what you do is infecting. And even when you're down, that sense of love for what you do, the reason, when you realize the reason you do what you are doing at right now, even if it's like the worst thing possible, it brings an automatic smile and it gives you strength to go forward. So the best advice, the secret to my success is loving what I do. The pillars of my strength are none other than my parents. They are the strength that holds me by the shoulders. If I stand in front of a spotlight, their hands are behind me. They are the ones who are keeping me on my feet. The parents who have always believed in me, my mother, my father, even after like a very tiresome day, they come to me and they make my day happy. They would listen to whatever I say, and that is one of the reasons to why life has been so amazing, because of my parents. Because they're not just parents, they're not just my mother and father, but they are my friends. They are the best friends I wished for. Even if my father might go to his job, come late at night, he would always have that knowing smile on his face. He would say, "Ah, darling," and I would be so happy to see him every day. Even my mother, as I said before, the blue car that drives day and night, she comes to me anytime I tell her to. She does not care about time when it comes to me. She has given everything, and what she has always told me is that my happiness is hers, and I would have to say her happiness is mine as well. If not for my parents, if not for their belief in me, if not for them who has pushed me through so many obstacles, whenever I wanted to just let go, they told me, no, stay, continue, and see if you would love it further. Only at the last retort would they tell me to take a decision myself. They would tell me, take the best decision. They never forced me into academics. They always said, this is your school life, this is your childhood, this is something you have to have in your lifetime. And I have had that childhood that I could look back and smile because of them. And for that, I am truly grateful and thankful. There's also one individual I would have to mention specially. It's the principal, I would have to say. She is a pillar of strength to almost any high school girl. And that is something I've noticed after I became the head girl. I see her coming at around 6:45, very early compared, and she has that presence that any teacher finds awe in. She is that pillar of strength of high school. She is the name that combines Eaton, Landon, Lawrence, Sansom to the name of Audio Auxilium. She is the true help that comes from the Lord. And that I want to become like her in that way. I want that presence, that amazing presence that she gives out, that strength, that power, and that sense of anyone can depend on her. Like that dependence, that confidence we have in her is absolutely amazing. And that she has inspired me to work hard to become a good leader. She is a great giver and she inspires me every single day. The best advice I can give the younger ones, the younger talents, is to do their best, to be who they are and do their best. As I said before, the secret to my success is love what you're doing. But here, when you're doing the thing you love, one thing to keep in mind is to work hard on what you do. Never take time to just sit back and enjoy while someone else is working hard. Get in their shoes and work hard for it. And that will make you not regret anything you have done up to this point. Just work hard and go for it. That's my advice to you. My future ambitions, simply I would have to say, is going to Fairhaven University has been a dream I've had ever since I was able to walk, I guess. And maybe get into the English department and continue studying literature. Speaking of that, when I was a child, I had this sort of vision where I sat at a table with a pencil in my ear, surrounded by a lot of books. I didn't know what it was, but I think it was the calling for me to embrace this newfound love for literature and go forward. And I see myself there, maybe as a professor or a lecturer teaching students to love literature in the near future, and to know that writing comes not only by naturally, and that if you have the passion for it, you can go for it. So in a way, that is one dream of mine, to study literature further and become a lecturer maybe. But there's also a tiny dream that I've had to direct a musical, do a drama, most probably. I've always wanted to be in a musical, to sing myself on stage and act my heart out. This was inspired by Robert Icke mostly, who converted very historical dramas into very modern adaptations. I'd love to be like him one day. And also, I would like to pursue psychology through the arts stream and maybe get into the Child Protection Authority. My love for children, I think, is immense. My mom has always told me it's not going to be an easy job to do, but I think it would be challenging, and it is a challenge I want, to help those children overcome certain very disturbing challenges in their life. But also amidst these kind of aspirations is one small shared hope that I shared with my mother, is to start a handmade card business, most probably decorations and handmade cards. My parents have taught me to make a handmade card for every birthday ever since I was little. And I have kept it as a habit. Now I can't get out of it. It takes me around 3 to 4 hours to make one. And I would gladly do it to anyone, maybe. And it has always been a dream between my mother and I, to start doing that business and make a brand as big as Archie's or Hallmark, most probably. First and foremost, I would like to thank our Madam Principal, Mrs. Emma Vegunasekara. She is the name of high school. She is the epitome of Audio Auxilium, the help that comes from the Lord, as I said before. Without her, none of this would have been possible. And she is the reason why ladies of high school shine as bright as they do here today. Next, I would love to thank our teachers, who, as I said again before, they are home to us. They are the second parents that we always look forward to meet, that bring smile to our faces, that help us become great individuals. Their support in my journey has to be reminded. Next, of course, is everyone that I've met and not met. Even by a glance, if I have seen you walking past by, and if you have inspired me to do something, I thank you. in every possible way, because every individual I have met in my lifetime up to these 19 years, you matter a lot to me, because without you I wouldn't be here. If I were to mention specifically my friends, my committees, both committees 2021-22 and 2022-23, my drama crew, all the choir members, everyone from sport, even the Nangis who I meet as I walk across the road. You matter to me a lot. I thank you all for everything you have given me and more. Last but not least, I would love to thank my parents. I don't have words when I have to talk about them. I literally stammer when I do say things about them, because there's no definition to what they have meant to me. I thank you, Ammi and Dada. You are me. You are who I am today. Thank you. And of course, finally, I would like to thank Quadrangle for giving me this opportunity to speak on my journey, and I believe this opportunity has helped me grow my confidence for further endeavors. Thank you very much.